All right, so you're going for a tourism policy director role, huh? That's a pretty big deal. We're talking about shaping the future of tourism. To help you totally ace that interview, we're diving deep into RoleCatcher's resources, career guides, sample interview questions, even AI tools.
Yeah, it's a really interesting position because you're not just promoting a place, you're kind of building its future through tourism. So think big picture policies like international marketing and keeping an eye on the whole industry.
Okay, so let's break this down. RoleCatcher has this database of real interview questions. You know the kind you might actually get asked. Let's start with this classic. What inspired you to pursue a career in tourism policy?
This is where you got to bring together your passion and your experience. Don't just say you love to travel. Think about a specific moment, maybe a study abroad trip that opened your eyes to cultural exchange, or seeing how sustainable tourism helped a community. RoleCatcher's AI can actually score your resume against the job description and highlight relevant skills so you can tailor your story to really connect.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet for your interview. Speaking of real-world experience, here's another question you might get. Can you discuss your experience working with government agencies and stakeholders in the tourism industry?
Collaboration is key here. Think back to projects where you had to work with different groups, like negotiating between a hotel and a local conservation group. Don't just say you collaborated. Describe the challenges, your role, and the positive outcome.
And be ready for those follow-up questions. They
Yeah,
might ask, what was the biggest challenge in that collaboration? Or, how did you make sure everyone felt heard? It's about showing you can handle complexity and get results.
exactly. Now let's talk about staying up to date. Interviewers often ask, how do you stay informed about the latest trends and issues in the tourism industry? They don't just want someone who reads industry news.
Right. You got to go further. Do you go to conferences? Follow thought leaders. Contribute to research. That's the kind of proactive learning they want to see. And this is where RoleCatcher's Tourism Policy Director, the complete career guide, is helpful. It's full of insights on industry trends, certifications like CDME or CMP, and even potential career paths.
And talking about those certifications shows you're serious about professional development.
Hmm.
The CDME, or Certified Destination Management Executive, is globally recognized. It shows your expertise in destination management. It's a way to show you're not just looking for any job, you're building a career.
Now, let's talk about balancing those tricky stakeholder needs. A common question is, how do you balance the needs of different stakeholders when developing tourism policies? Think about the different groups tourism affects.
Well,
Local communities, businesses, environmental organizations, government agencies.
right. You need to show you can consider everyone's perspective, mediate conflicts, and find solutions that work for everyone. They might even ask, have you ever made a tough decision that didn't make everyone happy? How did you handle that?
Tough choices, for sure. It's part of the job. Speaking of tough choices, here's another one they love to ask. Can you describe a time you had to make a difficult decision related to tourism policy? This is where your leadership and judgment are important.
Absolutely. Pick an example that shows you can weigh the pros and cons. Gather input. Make the call. And stick with it. Explain your reasoning and the impact. It's okay to say it was difficult. It actually shows you're self-aware.
Right. It shows you understand the weight of the decisions you'll be making. And speaking of weight, let's not forget about equity and inclusion. A big topic in tourism these days. Expect a question like, how do you ensure that tourism policies are equitable and inclusive?
This is about showing you're committed to accessibility, cultural sensitivity, and making sure everyone benefits from tourism. Think about projects that promoted tourism in underserved communities or focused on accessible travel.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions and find keywords related to diversity and inclusion, helping you tailor your answers. It's like having an interview coach whispering tips in your ear.
Now let's get into the details of regulations. A question that often comes up is, can you discuss a time when you had to navigate a complex regulatory environment in developing tourism policies? Think about those times you had to deal with permits, zoning laws, or even international agreements.
They're looking for proof of your problem-solving skills and your ability to work within limits. Did you have to do an environmental impact assessment for an ecotourism project? Did you navigate international travel regulations during a global health crisis?
Those are great examples. And remember, you can use RoleCatcher's AI to figure out which regulations matter most for the job and highlight those experiences in your answers.
All right, so let's move from regulations to results. You might get a question like, how do you measure the success of tourism policies? This is where you show off those analytical skills.
Yeah, it's not just about getting more tourists. It's about understanding the impact. Think about things like tourism revenue, job creation, visitor satisfaction, even environmental sustainability. Have you used data analysis tools to track these and show a policy worked?
Exactly. They want real proof, not just good vibes. Did you ever make dashboards to track tourism trends? Or present findings to stakeholders? Those are the kind of examples that stand out.
Absolutely. Data visualization and reporting are super valuable in this field. Now let's talk about a question that's key to sustainable tourism. How do you balance short-term economic benefits with long-term sustainability when developing tourism policies?
Ah, the big question. It's about finding that balance where tourism does well, but doesn't hurt the environment or culture.
Right. You need to show you understand how important it is to protect those things, the things that make a destination attractive. Think about policies that encourage responsible tourism, invest in eco-friendly things, and support local businesses.
And remember, RoleCatcher's Tourism Policy Director, the complete career guide, talks about the challenges. It mentions long hours, budget fights, and the pressure to stay ahead of trends.
Being honest about those things shows you're realistic. You get it, and you're ready for them. Okay, let's switch gears to crisis management. They might surprise you with something like, how would you handle a sudden crisis that affects tourism, like a natural disaster or a global health emergency?
Oh, that's a tough one. But it happens. They're looking for your ability to think fast, come up with backup plans, and communicate clearly under pressure.
Think back to times you dealt with unexpected problems, even if they weren't huge. Did you have to change marketing campaigns because of something unexpected? Did you work on a team that had to respond to a travel advisory?
Those are great examples. It's about showing you can adapt and be flexible. Speaking of adapting, let's talk about innovation. A question that often comes up is, what emerging trend in tourism excites you the most? And how would you support it through policy?
This is your chance to show you're forward thinking and passionate about the future of tourism. Are you interested in virtual reality travel experiences, or maybe the growth of sustainable travel options?
Whatever it is, be ready to explain your vision and how you would turn that excitement into real policies. They want to see that you're not just following trends, you're shaping them. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you analyze the job description to see what kind of innovation the company values, so you can tailor your answer.
It's about showing you're not just a policy person, but a leader who can guide the industry.
Now let's wrap up our question deep dive with a big picture question. What are the biggest challenges facing the tourism industry today, and how would you address them through policy?
This is where you show your knowledge of global tourism. Think about issues like over-tourism, climate change, economic inequality, and the changing needs of travelers.
They want to see that you can connect global trends to local solutions. Have you researched new approaches to sustainable tourism development, or explored policies that promote fair economic benefits from tourism?
Those are the kinds of insights that will make you stand out. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you find keywords about these challenges in the job description, making sure your answers are focused on what the company cares about.
It's like having a personal researcher, making sure you're ahead of the game. Okay, we've covered a lot. But before we go on, there's one more important thing about the interview. Presentation. Yeah, you could have all the right answers, but if you don't deliver them well, it won't matter. It's like
You're not just showing your qualifications, you're selling your vision for tourism.
Right. It's about confidence, being clear, and that real enthusiasm. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback tools are so helpful. Imagine sending in your resume and cover letter, knowing they've been scored against the job requirements and polished to make the best impression.
It's like having a secret weapon. And it's not just about keywords. RoleCatcher's AI looks at the tone and style of your writing, making sure it fits the company culture and the job. It's all about showing the best you, both on paper and in person. That's where their interview practice feature comes in. You can actually record yourself answering those tough questions and get feedback right away on everything from body language to what you say.
Like a virtual mock interview with experts right there. So you're not just ready with what to say, but how to say it.
Exactly. And remember, even if you're experienced, there's always room to get better. This feedback can help you refine things, get rid of those nervous habits, and project that confidence that hiring managers want to see.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Understanding the job, those interview questions, and even using AI. What does this all mean for you when you walk into that interview?
It means you're prepared. You have the insights from RoleCatcher's guides, the AI tools. And hopefully you're excited about the possibilities in tourism policy.
Remember, getting this job isn't just about checking boxes. It's about showing your passion, your knowledge, and your dedication to shaping the future of tourism. So as you get ready, think about what really inspires you in this field. What changes do you want to see? And how can you use your skills to make those changes happen?
Because in the end, this is more than just a job. It's about making a real difference in an industry that affects economies, environments, and communities all over the world.
That's it. So you have the knowledge,
Yeah.
the tools, and hopefully a sense of purpose. Go out there and ace that interview, and remember, RoleCatcher's there with you. Good luck.
Happy travels.